Hello, it's Michael Heppel here again. This time I'm very excited to announce I am joined on the telephone with Blacklace's Dean Michael. Blacklace are famous for nostalgic party songs such as Superman, the Conga, and their biggest hit, Agadoo. So, Dean, thank you for joining me. First off, then, what was it like joining an established band like Blacklace, and how did it come about that you were to replace temporarily Colin Gibb?
Hi, Michael. Well, it's nice to be with you all here on your radio program. I joined Black Lace in 1985. It was Christmas time of '85. Took place with Colin. He went to live in Lanzarote for a while, and he's still there now actually. And I went in with Alan Barton, who was the lead singer back then in the '80s, and Alan left to join a group called Smokey. So we all, there's like three main people from Black Lace. There's Colin Gibb, myself, Dean Michael, and Alan Barton. So yeah, it was fantastic to be able to join them at the success that they had. They were number 2 in the charts when I joined with Agadoo.
Yeah. And obviously before that as well, before you joined, they had Eurovision as well, hadn't they, in 1979?
In '79, they had a song called Mary Ann, and
Yeah.
it was in Jerusalem. Yeah, it was in Jerusalem, and it was a 5-piece at that time, a 5-piece band with drums and everything. So, and then in 1982, it went to a 2-piece with Colin and Alan, and they did Superman. That was their big hit, first hit record.
I remember that. It's just all the nostalgia coming back to us already. I mean, I used to go to Butlins and things when I was a child, so this is this is just really crazy talking about all these songs.
And you know, Michael, you know something? We're still doing Butlins now.
Really?
After all these years.
All these years. I think
Yeah.
I was trying to work this out the other day. I used to go to Butlins for a week, and I went for 4 summers on the trot, and we went from 2002 all the way up to 2006. It was a family
Wonderful.
holiday every year for 4 years. And I
Yeah.
mean, I would have been 5 till about 9 at the time, which is obviously the perfect time when you're like a kid for Butlins, I think.
Oh, exactly. Well, we do the '80s weekenders now. They do a special weekend of '80s music, and it's the same with Pontins as well. So, as I say, we're still doing it, which is great after all these years.
All the memories, though, for kids, that's what it's about, Butlins and Pontins and places like that, isn't it?
It is, yeah, definitely. All the holiday centres and all the places abroad as well. They do the kids clubs, don't they, abroad
Yeah,
in
of
the
course,
hotels, and they play all our music there. Unbelievable, really.
yeah. Actually, I remember that. I was on holiday when I was 18. I was in Benidorm, and you woke up in the morning. I had the big pool parties at all right, like about 10 o'clock in the morning. You're waking up to the sound of Agadoo.
Yeah. Exactly.
So before Blacklace, what were you doing?
Before Black Lace, I was resident in Leeds. I was in a band at the Mecca in Leeds, a resident band playing all chart music, and that was 4 nights a week. And then I used to do a solo show as well around the working men's clubs when they were all open. But sadly, they've all gone now. So
Yeah.
I've just it's a shame really, because I used to come up the northeast. I'd be playing up there in all the social clubs, do a 10-day run and stay at Roker in Sunderland. With all the bands used to stay there in the Pro Digs, what we used to call the Pro Digs, like a hotel for everybody. And they were happy days. Those, that was before Black Lace, but yeah. And then in 1985, it's Christmas time. That's when I joined Black Lace. So that's what I was doing before.
So what was it like recording Wig Wam Bam, and why do you think it's still so popular today at parties?
Wigwam Bam was a song we did. We made a film called Rita Sue and Bob Too, and we just made the film, and it hadn't come out yet, but it was around Christmas time again, and the record company wanted to bring out a song that we could do a dance to. Well, it was originally by a group called The Sweet in the 1970s, but we put our own spin on it, put a little dance to it, as we do with all our songs. And the rest is history, really. We brought it out, and it became a hit record for us.
And it's still popular today, like I say, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Everywhere you go, they play Wigwam Bam, and we still do it in our live show as well. You know, it's very popular there.
Yeah. Now, your music is really popular with kids and adults, but in the eyes of Black Lace, who was your main target audience, would you say?
Well, the main target audience was like the Butlins centres, you know, the holiday centres,
Yeah.
where for families really, right from children right the way up to grandmas and granddads, you know, right the way through. I think we appeal to everybody, and it's funny how the children know our music now because it's been brought up through the generations. You know, all the people in the 80s, it's their kids now, and so on and so on. And it's just amazing, really, to see it all still carrying on.
I think as well, though, with your music, it is very much feel good. And on a Saturday night, if you're ever at a party and you ever have your music on, you just forget everything, don't you?
You do, yeah.
All eyes are on the dance floor.
A lot of DJs say to us, "Oh, you're a lifesaver, you are," when we go anywhere. Because we say, "Wow, what do you mean lifesavers?" I say, "Well, if we can't get anybody on the dance floor, we just put a Black Lace record on and they're all up dancing."
That is it. All it takes is Agadoo, I think, to get British people on the dance floor. So how did it come about, obviously, that you played yourself in that film you mentioned, Rita, Sue and Bob 2, from 1987?
We were approached by the director, one of the the film writers as well. They were from our area, and they wanted a northern act to perform in it. And with us being successful at that time, they chose us, and they asked if we'd come and record the song that we did. The film came out, I think it was 2 years after we recorded it. It actually came out in the cinemas and everything. And then it's shown on television now every other year, I think, on Channel 4, on the Film 4 thing.
Yeah.
So, it's still popular. People still see it. And I think it's a cult film, really. It's you've got to be into the 80s comedy. You'd never get away with it today.
Yeah, that's very true, isn't it? And for the younger generation like myself, what was that film all about?
Well, it was a Thatcher's Britain, what they used to call Thatcher's Britain. It was very politics, to do with politics and everything, and the way people were brought up in them days, you know. But it was a comedy film, but it was just about Bob was a chap that had two babysitters that used to come to his house, and he ended up having an affair with them both at the same time. But it's quite funny. If any of your listeners haven't seen it yet, look it up on the internet. It's called Rita, Sue and Bob 2. So.
Yeah, I might have to do that one myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
What was it like in 1987 then, when Colin Gibb returned to Black Lace, and then you were then a full-time member of the band?
Yeah, because Alan had left to join Smokey, the group from the 70s. And unfortunately, Alan was killed in a car crash, a coach crash in Germany with Smokey. That he was the only one that was killed. All the rest survived. But it was very unfortunate. So Colin then came back into Black Lace, and we toured for many years then, doing all the holiday camps and everything, festivals and different things. Did some TV as well together. We did all kinds of things. But and then Colin went to live back in Lanzarote, and I went over to live in Spain then as well. I lived in just outside of Benidorm for a good 15, 16 years. So that was how Colin came back in.
Oh, I see. And then what were some of your biggest achievements from then on, would you say?
Well, my biggest achievement as a solo artist, away from Black Lace, was doing The Voice UK. I appeared on there a few years ago now. And I did The Voice, and from being on The Voice, I got spotted by Ant and Dec were watching.
Really?
They asked me to do their 40th birthday party, and everybody who was anybody was there. So I got to meet loads and loads of people, and TV directors and all kinds of things. Big Brother were there, and I'm a Celebrity. All the people, the big programs. So I've got to meet everybody. And then we got approached by Gary Lineker's team to do the Walker's Crisps advert, which we did, where they knocked us out with a wrecking ball. That was quite funny as well. So we got quite a few things came from that.
Thinking of Match of the Day there as well, you also did was it a remake of Music Man as well for the World Cup? It was, wasn't it? I remember the open top bus.
I actually wrote our version of the Music Man.
Did you?
Yeah, big success
Ah,
for
right,
it.
okay. I was going to say it was very clever writing that.
Yeah, yeah, it was just an idea that came to me, being out in Benidorm and seeing all the people walking up and down the streets, all the different nationalities and
Yeah.
from different places in the UK, and I just put it all together, and it became a top 40 hit record.
That's what you want, isn't it? It's mad how
Yeah,
these things just happen, isn't it?
it is. Yeah, yeah.
So what are live gigs like for you then when you're on stage and obviously performing all them big hits? What is it like for you?
Well, it's wonderful now because when we've been doing the Let's Rock the 80s festivals for the last 4 years, I think it is 4 or 5 years, and we play to 23,000 people at a time through the summer every week, which is fantastic, and it's a great atmosphere because they don't just get to see us, they get to see all the 80s acts like Jason Donovan, Go West, Tony Hadley. There's lots of us all on there touring around for the summer, and who have all now become personal friends, which is good as well, So, yeah, it's really good. Yeah, very fortunate.
Yeah. So then, obviously, you were just saying before we went on air there that you have actually got a radio show with True Radio. How did that come about, and then what kind of show do you do as well?
Well, I used to work for a company called Minster FM in York many years ago, and I used to do a party show at the weekend, and they'd heard me do this, and approached me, it's about 6 months ago when it was in lockdown, and I was doing some stuff on the internet, and True Radio approached me and said, would I become a presenter for them at the weekend? So that's how all that came about, and I've now got my own show on a Saturday night, Saturday between 6 and 8 o'clock, where I play all the cheesy party music. And then on a Sunday, I do the celebrity interviews. We've known so many celebs now that I do it all on Zoom. I interview all my friends on Zoom. And then we make a program up on a Sunday evening between 6 and 10 o'clock on True Radio. And that's fantastic. I mean, all the big celebs. Tomorrow I've got Rosala on from the 90s. She's on with us. And lots more. I've got Tony Hadley coming on and quite a few of the others, Nick Kershaw. So I've got quite a lot of celebs coming up, and I've interviewed quite a lot already. I did Cheryl Baker, she did an interview with me from Buckspace. Tight Fit, Tight Fit, they've been on the show. Owen Paul from Scotland, he's been on the show. So, I get quite big names from the 80s, and it's wonderful. People love it.
Yeah, that's really cool, that. So now you've also done shows as well at CBBC, sorry. How different is presenting to children or like young teenagers compared to radio, which predominantly is adults?
Well, of course, yeah. We have a puppet. Well, they made a puppet of me, actually, with the red glasses and the spiky hair. And they call it Mr. Agadoo, the puppet. And we did a guest appearance with Hacker and Dodge. Hacker is Dodge, yeah. And we presented a few shows with them a few times. And we did different shows for CBBC. We did another one called The Slammer with Ted.
Oh, yeah, what a great show that was. I remember watching that when I was a kid, The Slammer. That was good fun, that show. That was really good fun, that one.
Yeah, no, it was fabulous. It was absolutely great. So,
that's... It was a strange version of porridge. Like a kid's version of porridge.
Oh, that's right, yeah. We got put in the Slammer for doing Agadoo, for creating Agadoo and punishing people with it.
It was just such a weird concept for a show, especially for children. But when you actually watch it, it's just one big talent show, isn't it? It's massively like opposite attracts, really.
Yeah. No, it was a great fun show to do. It was fabulous.
Yeah, it looks it when you watch it on the telly as well. I remember watching it on the telly. It looks like a good fun one just to get involved in. And that's what you want.
And Ted's wonderful. The presenter is wonderful, is Ted.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to mention that I haven't brought up?
I think you brought everything up, really. I've got to keep recording. I keep watching out. Keep watching out for us. Yeah, hopefully we'll be out next year when we can all get back from lockdown, and we'll be playing again hopefully from Easter next year. So just watch out for us. And if we're up in the northeast, you'll have to come along and see us.
Indeed, mate.
The lovely Michael. Brilliant.
Thank you so much for your time, Dean. I really appreciate it. I hope
you
have a fantastic Christmas.
Have a lovely Christmas, and to all your listeners as well. Have a great, wonderful Christmas, and keep safe, everybody.
Yeah, indeed, and all the best for the new year as well. Let's hope next year, New Year is a lot better than what this one was.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Dean. Take care of
Thanks again,
yourself.
Michael. Thank you. Bye, bud.